do this kitchen minute on potatoes since potato season is on us. I'm going to tell you about the best way to make mashed potatoes so that they turn out and they're pleasing each time. A lot of the information I'm taking and going to offer you today is actually from one of my favorite sites called SeriousEats.com. Anything you need to know you can get from this site. So let's, without too much further going, let's talk about potatoes. So did you know there's 4,000 varieties of potatoes? And did you know potatoes originated in South America in the Andes Mountains? And we didn't have potatoes in the United States until the 1800s. The potato famine, all those kind of things, and immigration is what brought us potatoes. So let's talk more about variety of potatoes. Potatoes first are good food, not as bad as the rap they get. They have a lot of vitamins and minerals, a lot of good things, fiber. They're also easy and adaptive to plant and grow. That's another reason why they're so popular. They provide a very high yield in a plant, so you can have tons of potatoes if you grow them. And they last a long time and they're easy to store. So all in all, they're a powerhouse food that can be used in a lot of different ways. So what type of potatoes do you use, especially for mashed potatoes? Let's talk quickly about a couple varieties here. I have what we call a russet potato or an Idaho potato, which we call a high starch potato. I also have what we call a medium starch potato. Those are these little yellow potatoes, Yukon Gold. They go by other names. They also have a very thin skin that you can scratch with your fingernail. That's a good way to remember which they are. So they're a medium all-purpose potato. I also have these red potatoes, red bliss potatoes. They also come in purple and blue, and these are fabulous potatoes. These are what we call a waxy potato though, so a low in starch potato, and they have their specific uses as well. I have an example of what we call new potatoes, which are exactly that. They're actually baby potatoes. So they're the same as our medium starch potatoes that are just picked when they're in a smaller stage. And then we have what we all love, which is a sweet potato, which isn't even a potato at all. We prepare it similar to potatoes, but it's a different kind of plant. So those are the basic kind of potatoes, but like I said, 4,000 varieties, which we can't even get here. If you travel to South America, maybe you can get them. So let's talk again about Thanksgiving coming, and we're going to be making mashed potatoes. How do you make the best mashed potatoes, and which potato do I use? Well, my suggestion is that the best potatoes to use for the best mashed potatoes are either your high starch potato or your medium all-purpose potato. So your russet potato or your Yukon Gold or yellow potato, not your red potato. The best way to prepare your potatoes for mashing them is you can peel them if you clean them, of course, scrub them clean. Peel them if you don't like the peel. Personally, I love the peel and I like the way it looks in my mashed potatoes, but other people don't. It provides a little bit of extra fiber as well, so that's a good thing to think about. When you're starting your potatoes, cut them up in pieces that are of equal size so they'll cook around the same, take the same amount of time to cook. You don't want some being hard and uncooked, some being too mushy. That'll again change the character of your mashed potatoes. So always start your mashed potatoes in cold water on the stove top when you're boiling them. So clean and cut your potatoes and add them to your pan and then turn the fire on. I also like to suggest add salt to your water. This is the point at which you can add extra flavor, which you cannot get into your potatoes once they're cooked and in the bowl and ready to serve. You can add salt on top, but you can never flavor them as much as you can as if you salt the water when you're starting them. So you boil them till they're fork tender. You take them you drain them out of the water when they're fork tender, and you let them cool a little bit before you mash them. Now mashing is the point at which you either get a gluey mashed potato or you get a fluffy, nice white mashed potato that you love. And that's, again, dependent on the amount of starch that comes from your potato. So if you were going to use these sort of potatoes for mashed potatoes, they're not going to give you the same quality that these are going to give you. You want the starchier mashed potato, gives you the fluffier character, and it'll give you the mashed potato you like. So what I like to do is, some people use a hand masher, which you can use. Some people like to use a mixer, growing up, that's what my mother always used, her mixer. But what I've come to know is that it's sort of a two-step process that makes the best potato. I have this thing that's called a potato ricer, and what it does is you just put your cooked, cooled potatoes into the ricer and you push them through, and it's going to first break up those potatoes for you into smaller pieces rather than putting big chunks into your mixer and then really having to mix them at a high speed for a longer time, because the more you mix them, the more the starch comes out, the gluier they get. So the less work, the better. So first you're going to rice them, then you're going to take your rice potatoes, and in your mixer, if you're going to mix them, you're going to use your paddle attachment, not the whisk attachment. Again, the less work, the better, because we want some starch to be made available to the potatoes, but not too much. And then the next step after ricing is you're going to paddle them, and you'll see that you have really nice, unlumpy, fluffy, but not gluey or pasty mashed potatoes for your Thanksgiving dinner. That's all for now. I'm happy to talk more about potatoes later in another video, but that's our kitchen minute for now. And remember, curiosity in the kitchen leads to great things.